The Eastern Line is a commuter service that runs over 23 kilometres of track from Britomart, in central Auckland, down to Manukau. It's notable for being the only line on the Auckland suburban network that doesn't run through Newmarket. Instead, it goes via Sylvia Park. Prior to the opening of the Manukau branch in April 2012, Eastern Line trains ran down to Pukekohe instead. At the tail end of January 2024, I made a spur-of-the-moment trip to Auckland and filmed the AM electric multiple units on the Eastern Line. This wasn't too long after the Eastern Diversion via Panmure, which originally opened in 1930, finally reopened after a 10-month-long closure for major track upgrades. Manukau services run every 20 minutes in each direction for the off-peak and weekends, but the service is increased to 10-minute headways at peak times. On the subject of Manukau Station, here's a photograph of ADL 801 that I took in 2013, not long before the EMUs started running. And here's one that I took in November 2014, on the day of a farewell rail tour for the ADK diesel multiple units. It was also the only time I've ever sat in the cab of a real AM, instead of the mock-up that was once on display at Motat. On the way up to Auckland, we went via Waihi and saw DBR 1282 hauling the Goldfields Railway's passenger train. When I got to Manukau, I realised that I had missed the 13:35 service to Britomart, so I just waited for the 13:55 service instead. This station is quite interesting, because it looks like it could easily be converted into a through station, and it's fully integrated into the MIT building above. Soon enough, AM 388 arrived, and I got on this unit for a short ride to Papa Toe Toe. The first thing I noticed at Papa Toe Toe was the progress on constructing the third track, which will help to relieve congestion as this section, from Otahuhu down to Papakura, is also used by KiwiRail freight trains, and I think it's one of the busiest sections of track in the entire country. The mould was broken by DL's 9158 and 9452 showing up with train 228 from Palmerston North. Then it was time to continue to Britomart aboard AM347, which on this occasion was running in tandem with classmate AM484. As the train sped past Westfield Yard, I noticed this former FM guards van, now designated as AG153, down the southern end of the yard, and I have no idea what this thing was doing here in the first place. I didn't hang around at Britomart for too long, and soon went back down the eastern line, getting off at Meadowbank on the way back to Manukau. I was surprised to see that AM578 has had a livery change. Previously, she carried a promotional livery for a phone service provider. Now this was one of the strangest journeys I've ever had on an AM, because AM 388, the very same unit I was on to leave Manukau earlier in the day, had to run non-stop from Panmure to Manukau in order to make up for lost time. I think she was around 5 minutes late by the time she arrived at Meadowbank. This was very unusual because Auckland suburban services normally stop at all stations, instead of running express. That's not the case in Wellington, where they can and do run express services at peak times, but even then, only on the lines to Waikanai and Upper Hutt. And after returning to Manukau, I bid farewell to AM 388 and started the journey home. The day's rail fanning ended with me filming 3 southbound KiwiRail services through Buckland. One of them was Te Huia behind DFB 7077, and there's a bonus in the form of Mum's footage of DL 9515 hauling train 373 out of Mount Maunganui. Her footage was recorded on Wednesday, January 31.